Hey guys, it's Grimdark back with another Theme Park Tycoon 2 video. Now, in this video, as you already know, I'm going to be showing you how to get these 8 achievements. These are ones that people often struggle with, so I decided that I'm going to be teaching you how to get every single one of these. We're going to be going left to right. I'm going to tell you what you have to do for them, what they give you, and how you get them, if I didn't already say that. Anyway, the big picture. Alright, so this one is pretty simple. Achievements, if I can find it real quick. For this one, you just have, it doesn't explain what you have to do. You get these hanging flags and image panels, path, and ceilings, which can be incredibly helpful if you want to have custom looking paths and ceilings. It's really simple. All you have to do, go into search, look up image panel, or find image panel in, I believe it is in scenery, and then fences, walls, and poles. If you scroll far enough, you'll find image panels, and never mind, it might be in others. Okay, I always look. Wait. Yes, image panels. Okay, so it's in others in scenery. Just scroll a little bit and you will find image panels for 750. Now you want these big ones. You want these square ones. And what you're going to want to do is place them in a 9x9 grid, like so. Placing them like this, you can hold shift to get them into the right positions easier. And you just have to place them in just like this. Then what you're going to want to do is just do change image and just use the suggested images, use whatever image you want, and just put 9 different images just like this because well, I don't know why, but this is what you need to do for this achievement. So just select them in order. I mean, I'm just selecting them in order. There's no real reason to which ones I'm selecting, and it really doesn't matter because once you're done, once you've selected and put in enough of these images and you've got the achievement, you should get the achievement if you do something like this. You can just delete them. You can just delete them. It doesn't matter. This doesn't have to stay in your park at all. Anyway, that is the big picture done. I'm just going to color this one in green. I was going to say green. Alright, so this one is done. I will be putting timestamps in the description for each one of these in case you want to just skip to a certain one, or if I forget to put them in the description, they'll be in the pinned comment, whatever ends up happening. But anyway, that's it with the big picture. On to Promode. So I had to write it like this, otherwise it would be hashtags, because in the achievements tab, here it is. Build and open a tracked ride primarily using the advanced editor, and this gives you the spinning coaster, which you will need for spin to win. The issue that people have with this one is it tells you that you need to build a roller coaster using the advanced editor, but most people don't know how to use the advanced editor. Now I'm just going to do a real quick tutorial on how to use the advanced editor. Use the basic editor to build a station, and then this is just going to be using this main default function of the advanced editor. This red thing will make it go up and down. This changes the steepness of the slope. The blue one controls banking, and then the green one turns it. So what you could do, if I just reset the node real quick, what you could do is just turn it until it turns red and you can't build it. Press build or press Q to build it. Turn this roughly straight. Do another one that's roughly straight. And then just turn it. And then once you're close to the end, the snap node to segment basically is finish the track. It is very powerful and very helpful for a lot of things, because otherwise you'd have to line it up just right. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this arrow changes the length. But you could just snap it in right like this, build it, and that should be it done, because you built it primarily using the advanced editor. That's a pretty simple thing you can do just to get this achievement, and that's really all you need to do to unlock the spinning coaster. And a lot of people say they have trouble with this, but you don't even have to be good at using the advanced editor to get this achievement. Alright, the next one, To the Moon. This one's really simple. All you have to do, get a multi-launch coaster. Oh yeah, I forgot to real quick show you what the achievement is. Shouldn't forget to do that, it's pretty important. So if I can find it real quick, there we go, To the Moon. It doesn't say what you have to do, but it unlocks a trampoline, and you're going to want to get a multi-launch coaster or any other coaster with a launch. I'm just going to use multi-launch because it is the cheapest launch coaster, I believe. And I'm just going to place it down and use a basic editor. Place it down and use boosters. Go really far with these boosters. So this is going to cost a lot, but it's incredibly simple to do. And that was a massive lag spike. But I'm just going to build this out really far. I would do it the sideways length of your park for these sections for park plot expansion things. But since I don't really have that marked out, I'm going to just build it out roughly to this line. And then once you get close to the end, just do this and do this. Now, the way you get this achievement, I forgot to explain it, is by having a coaster go at an incredibly high speed directly up and end the track. So it would launch it off towards the moon, although the moon's up there, not directly straight up. But that's not the point. The point is, if we put this into you're also going to want to use the improved physics, which is now the default. I just noticed that. Cool. If I can put the train length down to 1, you can put this into testing, and it will launch this at an incredibly high speed. Ride operations will help with this. If you set it to 500%, you'll need much less space, but that should get you the achievement. Now, I'm pretty sure it has to be going at a top speed of over 100 kilometers an hour, somewhere above there. But if you shoot for over 150, I'm pretty sure that'll get you the achievement. So that should be good. And just remember, if it doesn't quite get you it, you could always just edit ride track at the end of the segment, remove, add a few more boosters, place back in these 2 pieces, and then test it out again. But of course, I'm just going to delete this because we don't need it anymore. Now I'm going to head back over to the signs we got over here. Color this one green. We've learned how to do it. Amazing. And now we have got our 4th achievement. Now I'm pretty sure that it is the chained achievement. Now, this one does also cost a fair bit of money, and you will need to dig down a bit if you have no height limit expansions. So if you don't have height limit expansions, you're just going to want to dig a pit down at the bottom of the world, go into intense rides, get the fireball ride, and okay, it will need to be, I believe, 6 tiles wide. So let me just make it wider than 6 tiles, because I can, and put this down at the bottom. We're going to want to get 4 of these that link together to create a chain. And they're going to have to link together kind of like this, except you're going to want it to be just a bit higher, because you won't be able to do this without disable collisions. And you won't be able to do this with disable collisions either, because it says there's a ride station here already. So you're going to have to put it up 1 block higher than the top of this. Now, people on Windows computers have it really easy. They can just hold Control to lock the column, but since I'm on Mac, when I try to Control click, it doesn't work, which is mildly annoying. So what I'm going to have to do for this anyway is just use grass and just build up a tower and use the shift to lock height. So I'm going to bring this over to here, drag it up a couple of blocks, place that down, and now I'm going to go and get the other ones. And I just realized I didn't dig this pit quite big enough, but that's okay, I have disabled collisions, so just make sure if you're doing it that you do dig it to the right size. And this can take a bit of testing to get it placed right. You have to place it at the right level, so there is no ride station there already. And there is a very specific level you have to do it at. I believe this will be it. If I center it. What? How is this? No, this has got to be too low. 1 higher. And... Alright, give me a second. This should... There we go. Alright, I finally got that one placed in. So this achievement can be a little difficult to get, but it usually isn't the most impossible achievement in the world. And if I can line this up just right, as you can see, we've linked the 4 fireball rides together. You don't have to open them, you don't have to do anything. You just have to place in all 4, and then that is how you get this achievement. Then you can delete them afterwards to get all your lost money back, or not all of it, but most of your lost money back. And I'm going to fill in this hole. I actually want to fill it in here, fill it in here, and get pushed out of the map. Now there's a quick trick. If you want to get someone out of your park, you can just dig down the land a little bit where they're standing, go down to the bottom of the hole, drag it back up. They'll fall out of the world and they'll be sent back to their park. And if they get stuck in the ground, then they'll be forced to reset or respawn, and they'll still be sent back to their park. Alright, we've gotten through half of these, and we still have 4 left to go, although of course these 4 are going to be the hardest 4. This one, Mega Duck Invasion. You're going to need a friend for it, or usually you're going to need a friend for it. There are some ways you could do it without a friend, but basically what you're going to want to do is dig a 5x5 pond, fill it with water, find a Mega Duck, which is you go into props, I believe, and if you scroll far enough, you will see, yes, there it is, Mega Duck. And you're going to want to place 25 of these in a 5x5 pond in a short amount of time. I'm not sure exactly what the length of time is, but you do want to place it in a very short amount of time. That's what you have to do for this achievement, and real quick, I'm going to go over what this gives you, along with what Chained gives you, because I forgot to talk about that. Chained gives you light orbs, which can be very useful for just lighting up general areas. It's not the most important thing to have, obviously, but it can be helpful. And then Mega Duck Invasion just unlocks the Evil Duck and Mega Evil Duck, which, as you see, if I go into these, are right here. There's the Mega Duck, Evil Duck, Mega Evil Duck, and the Duck. And as I've already said, what you want to do for this achievement, I'd recommend holding Shift, but you don't have to, just as long as you're clicking in the right spots. It'll fill the pond with ducks. It is incredibly difficult to do without a friend. You have to click very fast and hope that there's not, like, lag. I think lag would not help in this situation, although it might, depending on what kind of lag. But I'm just going to delete all these ducks here, because I placed way too many, and I don't want them. Stupid ducks, get out. And now I can fill this back up. Okay. Now that we've done Mega Duck Invasion, I'm going to go ahead and show Spin to Win. Now, this achievement will unlock the teleporter. I believe, yes, it will unlock the teleporter. You have to build and run a spinning ride that can spin faster than 360 degrees a second. Basically, what that means is, for a roller coaster like the spinning coaster, which we'll be using to make this, it can spin. As you can see, if we build it like this and we test it, the cart doesn't stay completely lined up with the track. It actually turned a tiny little bit, although it wasn't very easy to see there, but it did, okay? Anyway, for this achievement, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get a spinning coaster, build out a couple pieces, and you're going to want to use the wide spirals up in either direction. I'm going to be using up and to the left. You're going to want to dig down a little bit before you build this up to the height limit if you have no height limit increases, but if you do have height limit increases, then you're just going to want to build this up to the height limit. I do have height limit increases, so I'm just going to build it up a little bit. You're going to want to go along 3, 4, 5, 6, turn off the chain lift, and go down with the same wide spirals, but this time down. And you can just fill in a bunch of these, and this will be giving the spinning coaster cart speed, and it will also be spinning it around as it goes. Here you could choose to add brakes or add no brakes. I'm going to just add brakes because that's nicer usually. And if we throw this into testing, I am going to use my operations to put the chain lift speed to 250% so it doesn't take quite so long to get to the top, although it will not affect the stats of the coaster at all. Yes, we just tested it out and it says that in the stats, maximum spinning speed is 434.7 degrees a second, which means the height that I made it is definitely higher than you need to go. But when I was testing this out, building it on someone else's park to help them out, I did end up needing to dig down a little bit to get to the 360 degrees a second. Anyway, since we don't actually need to wait for that to get all the way to the top, I'm just going to remove the ride, and we can move on to our last two. Now, the last two for the Extreme Children and Decakill. This one for the Extreme Children, I'm not 100% sure how you actually get the achievement. I don't know completely what the requirements are. The one thing I do know, however, is that one good strategy for getting it, well, I know one good strategy for getting it. I also know what the achievement gives you. So if you scroll down here for the Extreme Children, it'll give you the cannon, which will launch players. Sadly, it will not launch guests, but it will work for players if you want to launch players. Anyway, the way you're going to get this is with a junior coaster. You're going to want to get this to an incredibly high speed, and you'll typically need to bring it all the way up to the height limit. So you're going to want to dig out a little bit of space to start building it up. And then you could knock this out two birds with one stone if you use the advanced editor to build this. Same goes with any other roller coaster that you're building for an achievement, such as To the Moon or Spin to Win. You could also use the advanced editor to build those and work on getting yourself Promode, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to build it up with a little ramp, and one strategy I've heard people use is these alternating turns to go up. I would clear out that area, but if you come to this point, you can just delete a couple blocks, but I'm too lazy to do that because I have disabled collisions, and I just realized that I'm an idiot and I forgot to turn on chain lift. Subscribe for high quality forgetting to put on the chain lift's content. Anyway, I'm just gonna build up a couple of these in this kind of switchback pattern. Build this up to the height limit since I don't obviously have the same height limit as most players. I'm just going to build it up to here. Maybe go 1, 2, 3. Place this down. Turn this off. Go boop, boop. And 1, 2, 3. And then just start snaking my way down. Now, I did a similar strategy to this, except I only had it snaking down on the way down. When I built this for one of my friends recently, I was building on his park, and I know, shocking, I have friends, but I used a similar strategy to this one to get him the achievement. Now, I am going to use the advanced editor just a little bit to fit this in, just to see if I can fit this into this small enough space, because I could go through the walls, but I really don't want to do that. I want to challenge myself and show that you don't need to dig out a huge area to do this, and also show how overpowered advanced editor is. So if I just turn this like so, I can click this snap, and this should finish it. Now if I test it real quick and check the stats, top speed is 65 kilometers an hour. I'm pretty sure you need a top speed around that in order to get it to the achievement. I believe you need a 60. It may actually be 65 to get the achievement. Always, if this doesn't work, you can just make sure it goes all the way up to the top, add a couple more turns, maybe try using the advanced editor to snake it out a little bit. I don't really know what other tactics work, but if you go from the very bottom of the world to the very top of the height limit, you should be able to get the achievement. Now I'm just going to delete this and build this back up and fall out of the world because I'm an idiot. Alright, so now we've finished for the extreme children. So I'm just going to color that in green and Decakill this one. Arguably the hardest achievement in the game, although it's not really difficult. It's just mildly annoying to get. So, for this one, what you have to do is kill 10 guests at the same exact time. Now, if you don't know how to kill a guest, it's pretty simple. All you have to do, get any old roller coaster, place a station, build whatever amount of track you want, add an entrance, put it down to 1, add an entrance and an exit, and then add a bit of a queue path to that ride. Now you can open it, and when a guest goes on, they'll walk along, get in it, it'll start off like doo-doo-dippity, I'm a wonderful roller coaster, and then it'll crash and explode when it goes off the track. This will kill the guest, and what you want to do for this achievement is kill 10 guests at the same time. Now, this is much, much easier said than done, because if you just get a coaster, for example, the junior coaster, and you wait for it to stop lagging, and you place one down, and you place one down, there we go. I placed 2 of them, 3 of them even, and you just do a bit of a station just like this that will end up getting you enough seats in the train to fit 10 guests, and then you just have it go do and then crash. This won't work, because unless you're very lucky, you won't have 10 guests immediately flooding in, and you can't have it closed and then have them wait in line, because if it's closed, they'll never get in line, and if you have it open and you close it, they'll all leave the line. So what you're going to have to do for this, which may be a little bit difficult, is just place it in the corner. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I guess. And then do something along the lines of this. Just turn it around, snake it around, make it take as much time as you can. Spend all the money you can afford to spend on this, because it will maybe be worth it to get, what was it for this achievement? It was a tombstone. Ah, yes, if you really need a tombstone, spend all your money on this. But depending on your guests, you may need to close most of the other rides in your park in order to achieve this with a fairly low cost spent. But the longer you have this track snaking for, the longer you have it waiting for, the more guests will get in line. And once you get 10, you can just kill them all off. So I'm just going to have this snake around here. Come in like this and go into a station. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, wait, I forgot one very important thing. In order to have 2 trains, you don't even need 2 trains for this. What am I doing? You could just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's all you really need to do. So once I just build an entrance and exit here, I would recommend actually having a queue path, otherwise this will not work. You could open it. This starts, and you want to open it as soon as possible. You just want to be ready for this, because this train will very, very slowly go along here. But once it gets to the end, there will be 10 guests waiting in this line, and they will all get onto the train, and then it'll crash, and then they'll all die, and that's how you get Decakill. And that's how you get the tombstone. And that is probably way more effort than anyone wants to put in to get a tombstone, but if you're hunting all the achievements, definitely worth it. Now, this is going to take forever to get to the end, so I'm just going to color this green. Just say we did it. Just delete the ride. I don't want to wait for this. I don't want to kill a bunch of my guests. That's bullying. But anyway, thank you for watching. This has been how to get 8 semi-difficult achievements in Theme Park Tycoon 2. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Check out my other videos. I don't really care. If you found this video helpful, then yay. I'm glad I could help.